Okay, it's tax season, and we have lots of questions every year about accounting, accountants, what they need, what questions to ask. A lot of you are scared to ask your accountant questions. A lot of you don't know what questions to ask your accountant. And so, this episode is literally about accountants, tax season, and how you can be prepared. Marley, I
Yeah.
want you to tell them about when you were when you were a baby business and you took your system in.
Yes. Okay. So way back in the day, we're going back, roughly 15 years when I was new in business and I was transitioning from having my mommy file my taxes for me, and just having I'm in Canada, we call it a T4. What do you guys call it?
A W-2.
W2, right? Handing that to them. And, it was pretty simple. To now, I was a business owner and I was a couple years behind filing my taxes because I was really overwhelmed and it was really scary and I didn't know what I needed and didn't need. And I didn't want to slow down enough to gather the numbers and figure them out. And so I just kept procrastinating it until I didn't. And then I made a commitment to myself that I was going to get my taxes in, figure them out, get them caught up, and, you know, be the grown up I needed to be and the business owner I needed to be because I was in my early 20s. So when I walked in there, I remember I was so nervous. I booked an appointment with my accountant. He was a friend of my parents growing up. So I also felt like this little girl, walking into my dad's friend. And I just felt really embarrassed and insecure about what I didn't know because I really didn't know. And one thing I would say, like a skill almost that I've had is I walked in there and I do this thing where I'm like, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room so that I can feel at least in control of what I don't know.
Mm.
And I said something along the lines to him of like, okay, I'm a little nervous because honestly, I'm behind. I'm a little embarrassed and I don't really know what I need to give to you. So I thought I could show you what I have and then you can tell me what is missing or like what I could do better for next year and to like get through this. And I just like threw out there really confidently the fact that I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. And I'm aware of that. And
And
I'm
I need
hiring
you to tell
you.
me.
I need you to tell me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm paying you a big fat chunk of money to
Mhm.
provide the service for me. And I'm just going to own the fact that I don't know what I don't know. And I didn't go to university for 4+ years to learn accounting, right? Like that's what really is happening when we're feeling insecure about going into an accountant's office because we feel like they're this big professional that knows all this stuff that we somehow put on ourselves that we should know just because
Mhm.
we're a business owner. And that's just so unfair. So I just want to encourage you that like go in there and own what you don't know and say it with confidence and like that you're asking for the help that you're there for them to provide you. And so that actually gave me so much relief because his answer to me was, all right, let's see what you've got. And it was like, oh, okay. Like that's obviously not out of the norm. So we're good. And he looked at my system. I had come up with I'm pretty sure it was pen on paper.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I had like put a line down the page and I was like, this year, that year. And I bulleted out the totals for my expenses and my revenue streams. And I gave him the totals that I had collected. And I was like, so is this like okay? Like, is this what you need? And I remember him just being like, yeah, this is fine. Like I was so, it was really exciting to me because I remember feeling like, oh, this doesn't have to be rocket science. I don't need a fancy system or like spreadsheet or tracking or program.
Mhm.
I don't need to download some program that's being sold. I can literally hand this in on paper if I need to. And luckily my business at the time was simple enough that I could.
Mhm.
Um, and it was just really empowering to know that like, okay, I set a goal. I was really scared. I tackled it head on. I walked in there with confidence. I asked for what I needed and he was like, yeah, you're good. Like he said, Marley, there are literally people that walk in here with a Safeway grocery bag full of random papers and they kind of hand it to you and go, all right, here you go. Like figure it out. He's like, you're good. Like this is very organized. And so that's what I really want to drive home for our listeners that might be feeling also nervous to go in and not know, like just admit you don't know what you don't know. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have a perfect system. You just need to get the numbers in to your accountant so that they can file your taxes for you.
You
That's
need
it.
a system. It doesn't have to be perfect. You need a system. And that's for your benefit. That's for you. That's not necessarily for the accountant because they're trained to figure it out no matter what system you bring in, right? That's what they do. And we don't know tax law. I think that's the other thing. It's not just accounting, it's tax law. Like
Yeah.
they know the loopholes. They know like what you can and cannot do. They know what you can file and you can't file. We are not supposed to know that. And the more that you get so deep into that, the less you're paying attention to your actual business, which is your job. Your job is to pay attention to your business and have your system so simple and so easy for you and so second nature that you can just print it off and take it to them, print it off and send it to them. And if you can't ask your accountant questions, you need a new one. If they don't answer your questions, you need a new one, plain and simple. If they make you feel dumb or stupid or they're condescending, get a new one.
Yeah.
Because there are so many out there that are helpful and kind and compassionate and answer your questions, not in tax law speak, but in like normal person. Yeah, I just need how much money you made this year. Great. I can do that. And I remember asking our accountant, Casey, he's so good. He's so sweet. He's so kind. He's so patient. He's so patient. I asked him so many questions this year, and it was like, okay, Casey, I'm sorry to bother you again. And he would reply back, you are not bothering me. I want you to ask questions. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to understand. And there was one day where he had sent me a video of how to organize things in QuickBooks. I hate QuickBooks. Do I have it? Yes. Do I like it? No, I hate it, but I only have it because the accountant, it makes his job easier, right? Supposedly it makes my job easier, but that remains to be seen. But I remember messaging him going, I've stared at this video for 2 hours and I know that I'm capable of doing this, but there's some type of resistance that will not allow me to do this. What do I do? And he was like, I can do it for you. Great. How does that happen? He was like, click this link, send all the information, and he had it done in like 10 minutes. And that is his job, is to take all of that pressure off of me. How much easier is it for them to do it because they know what they're doing than to walk us through doing it? That's what I want you to understand, because I think that was an epiphany for me this year. Walking me through it is like banging his head against a wall. Like, just let me take it and do my job. Why do we feel like we need to hang on to all those pieces when we could just have a simple system, stay in our lane, and let them stay in theirs? So if that is not happening for you, get a new accountant.
Yeah. And I want to address, you paid him for that service. This was an investment.
Happily paid
because you were either going to be investing hours of your time or a little bit of your money. So right. For you, for that decision, it was like, I'm going to invest money in this and he's going to have it done so fast. And I also want to just like challenge you a little bit, because I know that if that was something he was asking of you in like July, you'd have been like, I got this.
Yeah.
But season of life, season of business, timing was not the right time for you to be trying to learn a new skill. So no. I just want our listeners to know, like, if they are using QuickBooks, if their accountant is, it's not rocket science, but it was just like not something you had mental energy for at all, period. So no. You were like, this is not worth my time, my energy, my stress. I'm going to hire this out. And that was a confident, easy no. I remember you messaged me, you were like, should I just hire him to do? And I was like, yes, we don't even need to look at the spreadsheet or make this like, this is a hell yes.
Yeah.
Sign the papers and get him to do it. And it was literally done in a blink.
And I had immediate relief. But the reason that I felt confident asking him that is because I knew that I could ask him questions. I knew that my system for the information that I knew was solid. But the piece that he was asking me to do felt really hard this time because we were building a whole giant part of our business in the background. I have a daughter who does not sleep. I'm homeschooling my son. There's a child here 24/7. It was Christmas, if I remember correctly. Like everyone was home.
Shift work. So
and my husband works nights. And it was like, no, I'm not doing anything else. I'm barely cooking dinner for my kids. Like, don't ask me to go into QuickBooks. So we just want you to know, like, you are absolutely capable of getting your money together and having a system. If it is not with us, that's okay. But this is literally what we do. We get you prepared so that you have everything you need to hand off to your accountant. We don't do taxes. We don't give you recommendations for taxes because that is not our lane of genius, right? That's not our zone of genius. However, your numbers are so clean and so clear and so optimized that you can take this system and hand it to your accountant, and it is 100% everything that you need.
Yeah, we've done that heavy lifting. It's a shortcut, but we want to empower you if you're listening to this and going, yeah, I really am intimidated by the tax process of going to my accountant and figuring out what I need to bring to them, that it can be as simple as pen to paper. Like, it really can. If you want a shortcut, like, we hired Casey to do our numbers and shortcut us. We also invested in that. That because we just were like, this is not worth the time and energy of coming up with this learning this new skill all by myself. It was like, let's take the shortcut. We have also done an episode. Before we wrap this episode up, I want you to go and find the episode that we did, the difference. I forget the title, but it was something along the lines of the difference between an accountant, a bookkeeper, and money management. Because those are, I'm going to say that again. There is a difference between having an accountant, having a bookkeeper, and money management. And so we did a whole episode on that. I'm not going to elaborate at all, but I really want you to go and listen to that. Maybe we'll link it below this episode, because it is a really, really important concept for you to grasp as a business owner on what is the difference between those three things. Because we hear all the time, well, I have an accountant and I have a bookkeeper, so I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And when we actually look in and have a sit down with these people, it's like, oh, I didn't know what I didn't know. Right. Money management is a completely different skill. It's a completely different necessity in business as an owner, and in life, money management. So we're going to link that below. We will do that.
Another example, though, of this, Mart, we have a client who just came, we're in March. She came into Mind Her Business in January, having 3 years of unfiled taxes. 3 years of unfiled taxes. And while this sounds extreme, it is not uncommon.
No, I've been there.
Not an uncommon thing, right? She has filed 3 years of taxes in the last 6 weeks. 3 years of taxes, because we handed her the system. She used the system and she was able to get current on taxes, filing taxes. Like, to think about that. Yeah. How much time did she save herself by asking for the system? Can you just give me the system and let me do my job on this?
What to do. I don't want to make another decision. I'm a mom. I run multiple businesses. I am working. I don't want to come up with a system right now. I don't want to make decisions on, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this the best way? Just tell me what to do.
Tell me the next step. That is the best thing. It's not the best thing. It's one of the best things about Mind Her Business is we cookie crumb you through the program. So you're not going to get a giant step that's like, go file 4 years of taxes and come back to us. It's like, no, here's your next baby step. When this is done, then you'll get your next step. So we have a shortcut for you, even if it is not with us. Find yourself a system, make it a habit for yourself. Like, build it into your schedule and make taxes easy for yourself for next year.